Howdy, 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 and welcome to the August, kind of, tour of the garden. It's, like, September 3rd or whatever, but we're doing it for August. It's fine. It's fine. Shut up. Alright, so, I'm going to give you a quick tour of the garden. As of, like, the last time, I'm still being super lazy and not on top of everything, so forgive the gardening mess. Alright, let's get going. Alright, the grapevine here is doing well. There are quite a lot of grapes coming off right now, like, you know, they're quite good, they're quite large. We did get quite a lot of rain this summer up here in New York area, so yeah, I'm gonna have an abundance of grapes here, and they're pretty good. Juicier than I remember, actually, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, so right over here in this lovely rustic raised bed, I did plant pumpkin on either side of this squash plant, but they died. Don't know why. The squash plant's not looking too hot either. So I'm just gonna cover this side up with grass clippings, and I'm just gonna, I think, more or less, just gonna cover this up and just like let it be fallow for the season, for the rest of the season anyway. Only because, like, I'm just, you know, probably bit off more than I can chew this particular year, you know. I have the large garden area. But yes, anyway, carrying on. Over here in the perennial type raised bed, the chives are still chiving along. This foxglove, it looks like it just kind of died out a little bit. Hopefully that will come back. I mean, there's still some flowers on it, but, like, you know. Again, I have to go through and do some readings. The groundhog or the bunny really likes the marigolds for whatever reason. I don't get it. The rosemary's doing really well from this. Like, we now have like a nice little bump of heat, and the lilacs are not doing too, not lilacs, lavender. Lavender's just kind of chilling there. It's not doing great. Maybe I need to put it in a more sunny spot, but, you know, it's there, it's alive, hopefully it will come back. Alright, in the next two beds here, we have the lasagna bed, which the leeks in here are doing pretty good. I need to start actually harvesting so they can space out a little bit more. But yeah, so I think I'm going to get a good harvest of the leeks. The cucumbers finally decided to start cucumbering. I've gotten a couple cucumbers from back here. And right now they're not looking too hot. It might just be that we've had some nice heat without too much water. Oh, there's a cucumber right through there. I don't know if you can see it wiggling around. Yeah, there it is. And I got this little guy down here. So I've gotten a handful of cucumbers, and there's still some more growing. Maybe I'll get enough to do pickling, or I'll just eat a lot of cucumbers. Over here, in this bed here, I did plant some carrots, which, again, I think the bunny came and ate a lot of the tops, but hopefully they will do well. This basil I haven't harvested. It's just kind of there to be pretty. I might, you know, harvest it or whatnot. And again, this was a marigold, which something enjoyed eating. I had some nice big beets here, and then somebody came, chomped off the tops, but yeah, you can see I have some nice sized beets, so they're doing pretty well. And then the stars of the show this particular time are the peppers, which are turning nice and red. I've picked like one or two, and they're pretty yummy. So yay, peppers. Alright, further down along we have this in-ground bed that I put the nice borders on. There are some radishes, which looks like they're about ready to harvest, at least some of them, with some carrots sown in between. I'm hoping that I'll get like a fall harvest of the carrots, so that will be good. We'll see how they actually do, since this spot is hit and miss with the sun, but, you know, whatever. Then over here in the, like, this is just basically like fodder type thing. I threw some like navy beans down, and they actually grew, and I'm just kind of like letting them do their thing. So, let's see here. This guy is a little bit on the dry side, which is good because they're like dry beans. Hang on. Alright, so I just dehusk them. They're a little bit on the green side, but when they dry out, they'll be like the navy beans, like the one little spot there, and then like white the rest of the way around. These were just like bagged beans that I had, and I just threw there. So they kind of popped up on their own. Not a great germination, but, you know, a couple of them popped up. And that was just kind of thrown there to fix the nitrogen into the soil as I put rye down one of those. I put like a grassy thing for to make fodder, and they didn't grow too well, as you will see. Yeah, so basically the beans came up and the rye grass didn't do much because it's winter rye and I planted it in the summer, so yeah, that's not a good fodder. But yeah, there's some just random navy beans here, which I'm just gonna let kind of dry out. This is kind of just like a bonus, you know, like little harvest, just kind of playing around, experimenting with things. It was like an old bag of beans. Alright, so in the weaved raised bed, I did try to plant some more lettuce and stuff in the background back there, but they didn't really come up. Might have just been the heat and mixed and whatnot, but these peppers are doing pretty good. It is, like I said, like right at the end of August, beginning of September, and they are blooming, and I think, yeah, so I might get some more peppers from these guys, and these guys, I think, just came up, if I'm remembering correctly. I can't remember because I did have some starts, but I don't think I put them here. Maybe the one there, but like this neighbor, not so much. Also, the neighbor looks like it has like different leaves. So like, I think this is green pepper. This might be like a chili pepper that grew or something. I don't know. We'll find out if it grows. And then over here, I can't really walk because the squash. There we go, butternut. There we go, nice butternut squash there, which is actually looking like almost ready to harvest. In fact, it's kind of taken over. I threw some squash plants in there because they kind of seem to do well in that spot, along with some nasturtium there. And the sunflowers, I mean, they're there. They're just down for whatever reason. They just got too heavy and just knocked themselves down. Probably not a sunny enough spot. Like right now, they like have some sun, but it's not a lot. So, you know. All right, I'll meet you guys on the other. Alright, over here on the other side of the sunflowers, you can see them like right in front of us. Over on the right here are the cave beans that I got last year. And I was worried that they weren't going to produce anything. But there are, if I can find some actual pods. Because I seen the flowers. I also decided to grow up there because more light, why not? There are green beans floating around. It's the heat is probably not doing these guys the greatest right now. Let's see if I can, oh, there they are. Got a couple down here and whatnot, so I still have a bunch of the dried beans from last year, which I still haven't eaten, but that's fine. You can kind of pick these and eat these as green beans, which is what I've done. They're actually pretty good. They're a little bit creamier, I think, than like regular green beans, but you know, it's pretty good. But yeah, so I was worried that they weren't going to come back, so I'm going to make sure I save some seed from here and just continue to grow them because they're yummy, and I think the dried beans are supposed to also be pretty creamy too when you cook them up. And then up here I have the turnips that I planted first thing in the season, so there's like a giant turnip or two. Some of them have died. A couple of random beets are surviving, and some more turnips. And then there are supposed to be beans here, which there's some yellow beans, but again, the bunnies or the groundhog really liked the green bean tops, so they just kind of ate those. And then some radishes down at the end here. So I've kind of neglected this side of the garden. Now you can see another awesome butternut squash. Kind of like the squash because I can be kind of lazy with it. You haven't noticed, I'm kind of trying to be a little bit more lazy. Or I am just a little bit more lazy at the garden this year. But I think that happens to most gardeners. I'm still getting crops. I'm still doing good. So, you know, I'm okay with it. Alright, so there's this little spot here that was a strawberry raised bed for the past couple of years. It didn't do too well. The strawberries didn't really come back. I probably need like new fresh strawberries. But in the time being, since there was a fence, I did a bunch of lettuce plugs. Kind of just popped in there. Because the bunny has decided, the bunny groundhog just love it. So I'm thinking maybe the fence will keep them, you know, away. Then I also threw some broccoli starts over here, which they look like they've gotten nommed on a little bit by maybe bugs or something, but hopefully they'll bounce back. And I might be able to get some broccoli and lettuce. Well, the broccoli for like the late season, and then the lettuce should be coming in soon. Speaking of fencing, over here in the, not lasagna, sheet mulch. There you go, sheet mulch bed. I did another plant of lettuce, and I had to put up fencing, because I went on vacation and came back, and things were like nibbled down to the ground, except for the mustard. Whatever decided to eat it, probably the bunny. Bunnies don't like mustard, apparently, so that's good to know. I mean, I like mustard, but I don't want to just eat a salad with mustard. So yeah, I have the lettuces back in here. A random marigold popped up. That's fine. Bunch of marigolds, in fact, but that's fine. So I'm going to let these keep growing. I did get, like, a good couple of cuts off the first one. So, like, it wasn't a, you know, failure or anything. It's just that I have to try to keep it from the bunnies. Evil, evil bunnies. Nice bunnies, but evil. Anyway, over here in the trial beds, which I would say kind of didn't do too well this year. My tomatoes, in the back you can kind of see them, but the ones that set fruit just kind of died off and withered. And then the squashes, a similar story that were in the front. So I threw down some radishes in the front here, which there's a couple, but again, bunnies. And then a couple of beets kind of intermixed in them. Same thing here on the Doug side. And they're there. The marigolds are just chilling. I did put, what was it, kale? Not kale. Collards? Kale? Kale, there you go, it was kale. Just kind of spotted in there. And the bunnies haven't decided to eat that, but, you know, it is what it is. And I might just clean this up and pull out the tomatoes and, I don't know, maybe just put it to rest or something. But, you know, they equally failed, so might have been a combination of the weather and the sun. So, you know, no conclusive on the dig no dig this year due to whatever poor circumstances of me taking care of it or the weather. Alright, over here in the patio raised bed hugel buckets, I have a mixture of successes and failures. This side right over here is just like a regular pot one. And I had put some sort of squash here, which is kind of growing into weeds. Maybe something will come of it, maybe not. The kale over here keeps getting eaten intact by the bunny or the groundhog. Same thing with the cabbage, which I know I should just rip out, but like, I don't know. I just keep leaving it there, staring at it, going like, man, I wish that was my cabbage and not the animals. But whatever. Peppers over here. Again, we got some nice red pepper and green pepper back there. They're doing pretty good. I came out here like yesterday or the day before, and I had all this lovely chard, and I'm like, ooh, yeah, chard. And I was going to come out here and do it, and then something ate the tops off. I think that's the groundhog, because he can get his fat little belly up and step up and just go nom 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 nom. So I'm guessing it's the groundhog who's coming up here and eating it, not the bunnies. So that's very rude of him. I got a good amount of cherry tomatoes from these guys. I don't remember which variety these are. These were like the cocktail ones. I think it was Independence, if I'm remembering correctly. And they're pretty much just done. I mean, I do have it kind of like growing and sprawling down here. But the ones that were raised up here on this, they just kind of fell over, plopped over. And they're kind of done, which I'm kind of fine with. I got like a good amount of tomatoes, not like a ridiculous amount from like last year, because I had a lot less tomato plants, which is fine. The leeks in this bucket are doing amazing. Like, better than the rest of them. Like, it's a good, I'd say, I don't know, inch round? Something like that? So I got some nice thick leeks here. And these are the American flag ones. I think they did better here due to, like, temperature spacing or something than the ones, like, in that. And also this is just, like, straight up, like, potting soil and with the manure and stuff mixed in. So, like, this is just straight up great growing medium as opposed to in the other part of the garden that's, you know, garden soil with all that other stuff. It could also just be the spacing, like I'm thinking. Alright, right up here in this front area where I had the two squash plants, I ended up ripping the one out earlier because it died, and I just recently ripped out the other ones. This side here, I've thrown in some compost and kind of mixed it into the top layer a little bit, along with some chicken manure, and I'm letting this sit and stew for a while just to make sure that everything's good. And I'm going to try to do probably radishes or beets or something like that for like a winter crop, since it is getting close to the end of the growing season. Probably a mixture of the two. In here, again, I didn't have a lot of luck with tomatoes because I was lazy this year and I didn't really stay on top of them. That's the story of this year, is you actually have to stay on top of certain crops, like tomatoes. Not a lot, but I just failed this year in that particular instance. But, you know, I still get a bunch here and there, and I do also have, like, volunteers scooting around. So, yeah, I'm going to probably maybe rip out this tomato and kind of just prep it again for the other side. I might do that again in the middle as well. I'm not entirely certain because there are some tomatoes peeking in right there, which are hopefully not too bad. I'll kind of pick those later today. Up here on this side, I threw down some beets, which they haven't been touched by the bunnies or anything like that yet. This was like a second late crop, so I'm thinking that I might be able to get more of a crop. It's also weedy, but I also threw down some grass clippings, just kind of try to do some mulch. The basil has been ridiculous. I have made, like, I don't know, a lot of pesto, and I still have to go back here and do another cutting and make more pesto. I love pesto, if you didn't figure that out from all this basil. Over here, there is some lettuce, which has been munched away by the things. And I had beans over here, but they didn't survive the bunny onslaught. But, you know, this spot's doing pretty good. It's its second year, so, you know, adding all the soil and stuff. So I'm thinking, like, in the next couple of years, if I'm still here at this house, then it will, you know, be a nice little garden area, and I might even fence this area off so this way I can actually grow more things, because this gets a lot more light than my garden spots over there. Okay, over here in the flower bed leading up to the back, I do have some flowers. I also have tomatoes and weeds and some more, you know, not calendula, cosmos. Cosmos? I think those cosmos. I'm bad sometimes with remembering these things. Oh, there's a cosmo. Anyway, zinnias. There we go, zinnias. These are the cosmos, the more frilly ones. But yeah, I've had a bunch of just random tomatoes pop up in this area. Just like volunteering, like a lot of like little sweet millions or something like that. So I just kind of like let them go. The nasturtium has bounced back again this year. It will be a forever weed slash laziness, and it's edible, so that's good. Then over here in the actual back plot, I have some turnips. They're like these wonderful top turnips and stuff, but I'm kind of growing them for the turnipy things underneath. I have my beets here. Again, super weedy. But these guys are doing pretty good. Right now they're like ping pong sized, and some of them, so I feel like this will be a good like fall crop coming up soon. And then over here I've just been piling in, you know, grass clippings and stuff kind of to amend this area a bit, but it is super weedy. I might just tarp this off in the coming months and just kind of like try to kill it off and just like get a stale seedbed type thing, because I was going to put asparagus here, and I had the starts and I put them out, but they didn't come back. It was probably a little too late in the season, because if you remember earlier this year, the roof got done, so they were over here, and I didn't want to, you know, put asparagus starts if they were just going to trample them, which was a good idea, because they really messed up all my garden beds in this area. So that was the annoyance of that, and that's going to be kind of my excuse. Cough, 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 cough excuse. Alrighty, folks, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share. Check out the Facebook channel Facebook page, where I post occasionally of just like some pictures of harvests, a bunny or two, who knows. But yeah, so check that out, you know, for posts and updates and things there. Alrighty, folks, thanks for watching. Bye.